what's going on, growers? It's your guy, Grow It Easy here, breaking down and explaining the Advanced Nutrient Supplement lineup. Advanced Nutrients has been a reliable nutrient line for myself, and I want to believe you get what you pay for. This isn't a sponsored video, but I do think that more should understand and know why these nutrients do what they do. Let's get started. For starters, we have their base nutrient Since I Grow and Since I Bloom. This is simply the base plant food of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Now the bottles to the left and the bottles to the right have no difference except for the cocoa blend having more calcium and magnesium. This is due to the fact that cocoa coir has a tendency to hold on to certain plant nutrients, probably stealing them from the plant. So if you are using cocoa, you should probably get the cocoa safe blend or you might run into some deficiencies. Tarantula is where you get your mycorrhizae. You get 19 different strains of microbes, which main names consist of Bacillus, Streptomycetes, and Pseudomonas. These are all beneficial bacteria for your plant and will aid with resistance to stress, drought, overwatering, and infections. These microbes also aid with nutrient uptake and root growth. Having them in your setup is definitely a must. NIRVANA is a mix of organic materials and a potassium boost. It contains alfalfa meal and kelp, both known to extremely be beneficial towards hemp plants. During the bloom phase, this will help with oil and resin production, making your flowers, in their words, more ooey gooey. However, since it does contain alfalfa meal, this does mean it can be used from the beginning of the grow through the grow phase into the flower phase. CalMag is just advanced nutrients, calcium and magnesium supplement. This also contains kelp, so you might want to have this in your regular schedule every so often just to make sure you don't run into deficiencies. Now, SENSIZYM is a mix of enzymes that aid with the breakdown of organic materials, so it can become available for your plant to uptake and take advantage of. If you're growing in recycled medium, this is a must so that old plant matter can become bioavailable for the new plant's growth. Next, we have RHINO Skin. This is our silicon supplement. So this helps with the strengthening of cell walls and the stalk of the plant itself. This also helps with trichome production and overall increasing the immunity of your plant to infections and powdery mildew. Big Bud is your bloom booster. It has a load of phosphorus and potassium for your plant during the bloom phase when your plant needs it the most. This is what often takes people's grow to the next level. During the bloom phase, your plant switches from needing heavy nitrogen to actually finding nitrogen toxic and needing heavy phosphorus. Big Bud is that supplement. Next, we have Flawless Finish. Now, this is a flush aid designed to help break down and wash out salts and excess nutrients left in your growing media. You use this in the last 2 weeks, 1 week to 2 weeks of your grow to make sure your finished product is clean and burns easier and less harsh. Bud Igniter is one of my favorites. It essentially puts the plant into hyper mode when switching to flower. I've seen bud sites appear in a few days using this stuff. It really tells your plants it's time to start making flowers and stop with vegetative growth. I apply this a week before I switch my lights and have seen amazing results. However, the packaging does say use in the first 2 weeks of bloom. Now we have CARBOLOAD. This is your myco food. This isn't plant food, therefore it cannot burn your plants. It is instead food for your root mass or your rhizosphere. Those beneficial bacteria and fungi down there love carbohydrates. This will give them a boost in numbers and production, further breaking down more nutrients and strengthening that root network so your plant can take advantage of that medium. Next, we have their VOODOO juice, which is more beneficial bacteria. They keep some strains separate because they claim when they're combined they may produce hormones and may create undesired effects. This contains some of the same bacteria from Tarantula, but does have some of its own strains, and diversity is king when it comes to the rhizosphere. Next is bud candy. This is also carbohydrates for your root zone and actually enhances flavor and smell profile of flowers. It contains molasses and other micronutrients for your plants. Piranha is their final microbe supplement and contains beneficial fungi that do create the root network and sort of guides roots to more water and actively transports water to aid with resistance to drought and deficiencies. Overdrive is your late bloom supplement and really helps your plant pack on weight during the end of its life cycle and helps fatten up flowers. This replaces big bud towards the middle end of the bloom phase and is an absolute must for finishing strong. Next we have B52, which really is a necessity. It contains tons of vitamins and minerals for plants that are needed for a healthy, stressless grow. If your plant isn't in the best of circumstances, having B52 can really make your plant toughen up as if they weren't even bothered. Finally, we have their Bud Factor X. Now, this neat little bottle will increase oil and resin production by folds. It contains the jaws of insect larvae and other parts of bugs to trick your plant into thinking it has an infection, therefore increases its natural defense mechanisms, such as oil and trichome production, which ultimately increases potency and terpenes. This also contains magnesium for vigorous root growth. Now that concludes our advanced nutrients breakdown. I do hope you enjoy your newts and understand your newts a little better. I want to thank you for watching, and if I did help you learn a thing or two, help me out by smashing that like button. But other than that, happy growing, guys. Peace.